Hi, welcome into my channel. This channel is against the Big Bang. This video will treat as a philosophical subject, the free will. So I cut from a video. Sabine Hosselfelder has a YouTube channel. From your YouTube channel, and I comment. I take some parts and I comment. I insert them. You like if you not use for money, you are allowed. Like there's a bar on YouTube interdict. So has Sabine Hosselfelder.
Today I want to talk about an issue that must have occurred to everyone who spent some time thinking about physics, which is that the idea of free will is both incompatible with the laws of nature and entirely meaningless. I know that a lot of people just do not want to believe this, but I think you are here to hear what the science says, so I will tell you what the science says. In this video, I first explain why free will does not exist, indeed makes no sense, and then tell you why there are better things to worry about.
So after you understand this is the way I make my videos. I'm telling like a tea science, coffee science, this is a coffee or something to drink. I put some milk about free will. This was my point. Like this, the science guys took the jobs of philosophers. You can find philosophers speaking about free will, but this was my point. They do not know that the Big Bang is false, that the science is false, and explaining to Sabine Hosselfelder, I already made videos. The science is wrong because Leibniz and Newton work in the same time. So the force is a kinetic energy, identical, work by Leibniz and Newton. And if you know mathematics, high school mathematics, you know the 1.5 mass times velocity squared is not equal with mass times acceleration. So this is kinetic energy. That Einstein was a kinetic energy, not electricity. So this implies all the physics is wrong. But and you understand, they do not know this, and they are hallucinating in the science. But they took the jobs of the philosophers even, okay. And but that's why I must intervene and speak about philosophy also, about free will. So another part from her video.
It is not how some philosophers have defined free will, and I will get to this later. But first, let me tell you what's wrong with this intuitive idea that we can somehow select among possible futures. Last week, I explained what differential equations are and that all laws of nature which we currently know work with those differential equations. These laws have the common property that if you have an initial condition at one moment in time, for example, the exact details of the particles in your brain and all your brain's inputs, then you can calculate what happens at any other moment in time from those initial conditions. This means in a nutshell that the whole story of the universe in every single detail was determined already at the Big Bang.
So okay, you see this, they are speaking about determinism, like somehow a causality. They know the laws of physics and the laws of physics, but I'm telling you the causality is this implication in logic. This is what you must to retain, like I implies B, I implies B. The implication is, but is a logical implication. The causality is a metaphysical causality. So if you want to explain to you in scientific manner, you have many compounds like chemical compounds, like sugar with water mixed with water. The implication is a mixture of sugar with water. You see, and you have hydrogen to oxygen plus salt, natrium, chlor, okay, and sodium, okay, and the result, and you combine the hydrogen like this, or as a mix of solution per gram. But the implication is like this. But the causality is not identical in the next chemical reaction. So if you have a next chemical reaction, let's say you put some acid in water, or you put some acid over a metal or over something, it is the same, the logical implication, but you see the resultant is put because it is discovered. You cannot deduce for a single formula the implicated part of the second part. So the causality implication is metaphysical. But if you do not understand this stuff, you speak about like this determinism, like pretending that somehow you have a single rule of derivation, causal rule of derivation in science. Was that?
Last week, I explained what differential equations are and that all laws of nature which we currently know work with those differential equations.
What is that? So second order derivative function, it is the only causal thing that manifests in all the world. So let me tell you something now. The world is itself works with this, and your mind observe them because we have this metaphysical ability to observe causality. This is causality. It is an implication, logical, material implication, if you want. But because the intellect observes them, A implies B, A is after B, I you see, but it's not a single cause. That you can make an equation to be the only cause that. So you physicists are lying only with this space stuff. You put the space to zero and somehow you reduce. This is the reductionist. All the science to a single space. But you cannot pull all the matter because this work with multiple metaphysical causes. This implies rational mind. But you being children and you do not understand. You take this reductionist mental thing, determinist. This was in 1600s. This language were invented when they discovered that they can lie that the Newton works or something. Okay. So but now let me speak about more profound. Hear another part from Sabine.
These deterministic laws of nature apply to you and your brain because you are made of particles, and what happens with you is a consequence of what happens with those particles. A lot of people seem to think this is a philosophical position. They call it materialism or reductionism and think that giving it a name that ends on ism is an excuse to not believe it. Well, of course you can insist to just not believe reductionism is correct, but this is denying scientific evidence. We do not guess, we know that brains are made of particles, and we do not guess, we know that we can derive from the laws for the constituents what the whole object does. If you make a claim to the contrary, you are contradicting well-established science. I can't prevent you from denying scientific evidence, but I can tell you that this way you will never understand how the universe really works.
And let me speak about in a more deep manner. We see, if you do not regard, you cannot think about will. If you take the creation account on the Bible, you see God is saying many times, let there be, and then time passes, says let there be, and then time passes, let there be. Why? Because you see what I explained to you, who wrote the Bible knew that the cause is not a reductionist cause. God himself do not produce it with a single cause in a single time, because the matter that it was created by God at the beginning, it is a faceless matter. Like, you can modulate it. You see, you have the plastiline, you have some ceramic matter, and you make many cups from it. You see, this is the way the matter is. God himself must have the multiple causes then and you light it a single one in a reductionist manner. And the Bible knows this, let there be, you must put something supplementary in the matter. You see, that's why it supports multiple causes. It is like a material susceptible to be worked in many ways, not by a single mechanical crazy cause in a second order derivation. But like from impact, this is mechanical force. Energy equals one and a half kinetic energy. From this impact you can make the entire universe, or the force times acceleration, that is gravity, put in a circle of vectoral force. So you see, but now you must treat like in the serious manner. If you want to speak about free will, I brought the guitar, you will see. Free will is a sentiment, like it's a power. You have it. You have it now, and it can break over a space time. I decide now, and encapsulates some, like if you understand, the will then expands itself. You watch my video, you see. It is like a determinate way, but my consciousness observes it. And from the beginning I decided, but the decision is not only point like in the beginning of a line, like here is the will, and then you have the determinate causal physical mechanical processes. The will itself is temporal. It begins like the decision, and the decision is still in a power of making, like impulsive rationality. So this is my third video on free will. I'll make an entire list, you see. So the will, like Nietzsche says, we have a good will or bad will. You feel it, you can feel it. It is a internal stuff that has a power manifestation over a time. If you do not have a good will, maybe it is not a powerful manifestation, or is lacking something. You play wrong because you do not add the rationality, or you understand. So the will corrects itself when a piano player, you understand. So the will is not only I brought the guitar. All of you think about morality. By doing something wrong, maybe your consciousness judge you because you cannot pay it to shut up. Okay, so then you pull everything in the moral. But this is a will, an aesthetic one. I want to paint. They do not understand this stuff. The rationality mind, or like I told you, has many causes. And the wisdom is not one, it's two, three, four, and you are treating it it's like a physical stuff, everything determinist. You have many wisdoms, they are not correlated. Nobody in philosophy correlated. They try to do this like in a metaphysical table from there to pull the aesthetics, the morality, the politics, but they did not everything, the invention, the science, but they are domains in philosophy. You understand, like epistemology, gnoseology, and they are not reducing like to some crazy atoms, quantum mechanics that is false, and that 16 particles that do not exist. Okay, see my channel if you want to see more about physics. So you understand now, you must understand God model. If God says that we are in his likeness, you must understand what is to this likeness. Okay, so the correct way is to put this even in God. Absolute, like they say, the absolute power corrupts absolute. You see, this is a two ensemble, will and power. You want, but you don't have the power. You see, but you have the power, you do not have the will. You could do it in other way, but you do not want to. In this manner, Saint Augustine asked himself what was wanting before he created the universe. You see, to understand this absolute power, like in a political manner, you understand if you have a big power like and a small power like but the power is like energy, but you understand it again, or like a chi, but you understand it like a power, political power like in the physical manner, a metaphysical manner. Okay, so but he asked himself what he was wanting, and his resolve is like he didn't wanted anything, like Saint Augustine, because you see it was going to put some contradiction in this will and power. So you see, God could not have in eyes of Augustine this gap between will and power, to see that he wanted to make another world, but he cannot do it. So this is like unsatisfied will. You want, but you have some unsatisfactory thing inside of you. You want, you see, but you can't. But you did not understand because you can want and you decide not to do it. So it is not like a antagony in his God minds. He could made maybe in other worlds. You see, there's not like the power must be matched absolute power with an absolute will. Why I'm telling you this, if you become want to you put 1, 2, 3 videos, you understand the will. Okay, I speaking about the will. I have many things to say. Maybe I can speak hours, but if I have to make a list with short videos, then I put it in a big one, part 1 hour or 2 hours maybe, and I put some small ones also. So you see that you have a small will and power in this chamber or on Mars planet, let's say, because the channel is against the Big Bang. So I'm saying like we can go to the stars and the planets right now, and you guys that falsify physics stop us. On Mars planet, you see sit like this. You observe the rocks. You see this wheel is in, and let's say that you make a square and you do not walk only in that square. You see, you are understand that the wheel is limited somehow. There's a little amount of things that you can do there. So now if you make a bigger square, you have, and by the way, the choice is not a will.
I will be talking about free will as the idea that in this present moment there are several futures which are possible, and your free will plays a role for selecting which one of those possible futures becomes reality. This, I think, is how most of us intuitively think of free will, because it agrees with our experience of how the world seems to work.
The choice is apart from will. Let's say you choose to drink coffee or three, to go supermarket. These are choices, to take this chocolate or the other mark. Okay, so this is a poor fellow from will. Okay, so you see, is limited. It is a limited will. So now you understand, you increase the will until God power, let's say. This is that the single will that it will be real will and real liberty. This is the term absolute power. You can do many things, you know how to do them. You see, corrupts absolutely in this manner, I'm telling you. So are you free if you have a little power? But in this way only God is free, absolute free, like to decide to. But and this is the point. And this is the point. By treating exactly this, you go on Mars planet, you are failing the Mars planet. Let's say nobody is with you, your past is forgotten, the morality, the consciousness about your past. You are living in some peace. You see, you are feeling conditioned. It is another aspect of anti will. You see, so in this metaphysical manner, you do not discuss. You are feeling free. You are free on Mars. So what you see, you observe the phenomena, you feel it. You have a good will. You feel the rocks. You are observe them. You leave an aesthetic phenomena maybe beyond this. Some combined with a scientific one. You want to understand the rocks from what they are made, and things like this. You see, so the will, it is in work. You are free. So now if you understand, if you escape from you can go on entire earth. You see this absolute power, if you understand, to create a universe or 2 universes or 3. How many universes to be absolute free? You understand? That's why Saint Augustine said of a will, he did not want it, but in this way you reduce the power, like Solomon says in the Bible. He only wants to want, and the power is near the will. So because you want but you cannot do it, this is the problem of Saint Augustine. He wanted to create another words, and he said that he did not want it. But this is in a human matter, like like to be unsatisfied, like to have an unsatisfied will. But what is the problem if a rationality or another things tempers your will not to do it? Or you see, you can have many wills. This is you do what do not understand. But if you understood there is many wills, in I can play many instruments, so many aesthetic wills can be, but I only apply one at this moment. You can have many wills inside you to activate them. You see, you can say many things about will, but speaking this manner determinist.
So the trouble with free will is that according to the laws of nature that we know describe humans on the fundamental level, the future is determined by the present. That the system, in this case your brain, might be partly chaotic does not make a difference for this conclusion, because chaos is still deterministic. Chaos makes predictions difficult, but the future still follows from the initial condition. What about quantum mechanics? In quantum mechanics, some events are truly random and cannot be predicted. Does this mean that quantum mechanics is where you can find free will? Sorry, but no, this makes no sense. These random events in quantum mechanics are not influenced by you, regardless of exactly what you mean by you, because they are not influenced by anything. That's the whole point of saying they are fundamentally random. Nothing determines their outcome. There's no will in this, not yours and not anybody else's.
So you must, physics guy must retain this. The reality is like this illogical implication A implies B, but nobody, a big philosopher that the world could reduce at a single causality. What? Einstein spoke about the first derivative function, like an f derivative function. F, this is the you can derivate every function with this, and you know that group of functions and the b what implies them. That's only cause in the science. But in the chemistry, the second order and first order derivative function, when you combine like hydrocarbons or something, it's at work. You do not understand, you are lying, that the world implies many causes and they are metaphysical one. And we can understand it only because we have an understanding, metaphysical understanding. B follows after A with some implication. But Nietzsche, the philosopher Nietzsche said, A does not push it and pull until the B is produced. That the cause does not push it and pull until the cause is produced. You understand? So it's a freedom even in the. But you can observe it. You live the phenomenon. You live the A and the implication and the B. You live the phenomenon and and they're in a magical way. They are here located, like spatial. The things must be spatial, that is to touch them. But how do you touch them? It is a wonderful process. You see, on light you can write things. Like music, this is like an alphabet and an infinite alphabet. You do not know what you can write on light, on colors, on sentiments. It's you say like in empiric manner comes from exterior in inferior manner through your eyes. So but you do not know what is written in light, the beautiful the of the world, the you understand. So about absolute power and in an absolute situation to make stuff. You see, it was God constrained to make the world. So you must break this even in absolute will and power. So come on my next episode, you will see I will continue. I continue this stuff. I have many things to say by the will. I'm saying like a tea science, coffee science. I only wanted to say that the Big Bang is false, and our galaxy is a sphere surrounded by clouds. And we cannot see the universe, the galaxy are clouds full of stones, crystals. They are not gravitational systems. Gravity is not attraction, a circular vector. It is light basically. And we cannot see the universe. Maybe we could go one someday, but you are tricked to not understand this stuff. maybe we can go beyond the clouds that surround our galaxy. That's the sphere, and to see what's beyond, because the matter does not is not like you are believing. It's more wonderful you are believing. God Himself in this matter must speak many times to arrange it. You understand how wonderful it is? It is not a single code and makes everything. Consciousness, what do you want for your children like minds to understand, to reduce? This is a reductionist. And you took the jobs for the philosophers, and you took the jobs for everybody. I'm like a bad person, but I'm telling you, even your science, you do not know it well, and you do not know this, but you must remember it. And so Augustine spoke about the absolute will, what he wanted. He wanted maybe many things. If you understand, there is not a single will, even in a man. It is an ensemble like. It is like a package. This is the will, and you observe it to many facets and many sides and from many points of view. And there are many. An aesthetical one, they are not combining even in a moral, maybe a little bit. Some moral things must be beautiful. Or maybe the most ugly moral thing is the most ugly, like in aesthetical manner even. So the wills maybe, okay, but there are many. If you see that this is an ensemble, maybe you may speak about how many totalities of the will you have. So there are many things to be said. It's a complex matter. This is my third video. I could speak like a few days about will. Okay, so I implies B. The causality is a metaphysical concept. Okay, goodbye, God bless. See me in my next video. I will pull more things from this will and power. You see Nietzsche, power of will of power, or things like this. There are many things to be said, and they are beautiful, and maybe I can bring some people into my channel through this. I only wanted to tell that Big Bang is false, but it's not an ugly subject. Okay, I studied philosophy. I am from European Union. Okay, goodbye. God bless.